Knickerbocker, the Funniest Dragon. Written by Terry John Bartow, illustrated by Kin Sparnagel. For Papa Hank, who's always believed in me, no matter what. Thank you, Jackie Bow, Shelley Dennis, and Pam Holter. Once upon a time, a young dragon named Knickerbocker stood guard for Princess Gwendolen in front of a tall tower, because his papa told him to. But Knickerbocker wanted to do stand-up comedy. Every day he would practice his routine on the princess. Why did it take me forever to cross the road? I don't know, she said. Because I'm always a dragon. Princess Gwendolen laughed. Knickerbocker rolled on the ground. You'd make a great comedian, the princess said. Knickerbocker looked over his shoulder. Don't let my papa hear that. Why? The princess asked. Knickerbocker lowered his voice. Every dragon has a duty to guard princesses. Piffle, I don't need to be guarded. Princess Gwendolen put a hand on his snout. And you need to do what makes you happy. You're right, Knickerbocker said. I have to tell him. Princess Gwendolen smiled. That's my dragon. Just then, the floor started to shake. It's him, Knickerbocker whispered. A gust of wind blew with great force. Trees fell over. Animals scurried away. Knickerbocker flew to his guard position just in time. How's it going, son? Papa Dragon asked. Knickerbocker stepped up on a tree stump. What do you get when you cross a dragon with a snowman? Papa just stared. A puddle, Knickerbocker answered. Papa breathed fire. What are you talking about? Knickerbocker swallowed hard. I want to be a stand-up comedian. What? Papa hollered. Every dragon has a duty to guard princesses. But I want to tell jokes, Knickerbocker wailed. Princess Gwendolen thinks I'm funny. You're not supposed to make people laugh, Papa growled. You're supposed to scare them. Knickerbocker hung his head. Yes, Papa. Later that day, a prince arrived. Prince Happenstance is here for the princess. Step aside if you know what's good for you. Knickerbocker yawned. Prince Fancy Pants? How dare you mock me, dragon? The prince swiped the air with his sword. I am the high and mighty Prince Happenstance. Knickerbocker grinned. Well, that's what I said. Prince Fancy Pants. The prince lowered his sword. Is that the best you got? Knickerbocker raised a claw. Row. I'm here to do battle, Prince Happenstance shouted. Oh, all right. How about this? Knickerbocker flew to the top of the tower and breathed out a stream of fire. Prince Happenstance cleared his throat. Weren't you supposed to shoot that flame at me? Like this, Knickerbocker said. He jumped off the tower, landed with a thud, and belched. A puff of smoke bellowed out. The prince coughed. Knickerbocker scratched his head. Aren't you scared? What I'm scared of is that breath, Prince Happenstance said. Have a mint. That reminds me of a joke, Knickerbocker said. The prince rolled his eyes. You're supposed to try and kill me? I'm a comedian, Knickerbocker said. I'll slay you with laughter, Prince Fancy Pants. The prince stomped his feet. I'm not Prince Fancy Pants. He regained his regal composure. Now, are you going to fight me or not? Knickerbocker shook his head. Don't you think I'm funny? It doesn't matter what I think. It's what you know in your heart that matters, the prince said. Now, let's get on with it. Knickerbocker looked right into the prince's eyes. Didn't you ever have a dream? Come to think of it, I've always wanted to be a baseball player, he answered. But I was born a prince. Well, then you understand my predicament, Knickerbocker said. But you seem to be brave enough to do something about it, the prince said. Knickerbocker puffed up his chest. OK, then. Let's get out of here and toot sweet. Knickerbocker extended his neck to the princess's room. The prince is here, your royal highness. Princess Gwendolen climbed on and stepped down to the forest. She fell into the arms of the prince. Well, I guess this is goodbye, Prince Fancy Pants, Knickerbocker said. The prince threw down his sword and pulled a baseball mitt from his saddlebag. Call me Pitcher, Fancy Pants. Knickerbocker waved and flew off to the big city. After many hours of practicing and preparation, he finally got his big break. Knickerbocker peeked through the curtain. There wasn't a single empty seat. He began pacing backstage. At last, the announcer introduced him. Ladies and gentlemen, the Comedy Castle presents Knickerbocker! The spotlight widened as Knickerbocker greeted the audience. A kid asked me where I got this dragon costume, so I asked him where he got the kid outfit. No one laughed. Knickerbocker got nervous, but tried again. How do you like this new floor? It's reinforced, because during rehearsal, it cracked. Everyone gasped. It was just a stage I was going through. A few chuckles trickled in the air. Seriously, folks, they thought I was going to bring the house down. Laughter filled the theatre. Knickerbocker went on to do a great performance. After the show, Knickerbocker's family came backstage. Wow! I didn't know you were here, he said. We were in the balcony, Mama Dragon said. Knickerbocker's jaw dropped. Really? Actually, we took up the whole balcony, Mama added. Knickerbocker smiled. You're funny, Mama. Mama winked. Where do you think you got it from? She leaned in and whispered in his ear. Papa is proud of you. Knickerbocker flashed a sheepish grin. You're not mad at me? You got guts, son, Papa Dragon said. How could I stay mad? We love you no matter what, Mama said. Good, 'Cause I want to put in some material about the family, Knickerbocker said. Papa frowned. Don't push it. They all laughed and hugged. Knickerbocker's reputation spread all over the world. Everyone wanted to see a funny dragon. Whenever anyone asked him how he felt about being so famous, he always said, "You know what happened to the dragon whose dream came true?" He would pause and wait for them to ask, "What?" He lived happily ever after. Terry John Bartow is a director and choreographer of 200-plus regional theatre productions, industrials, television, and cruise ship shows throughout the United States and abroad. As creative director for Wings of Dreams Productions, he honed diverse ideas into compelling stories, wrote screenplays for animation features, and inspired a team of artists to develop dolls and action figures. He lives in Los Angeles, California, and enjoys Pilates, yoga, and hiking with his dachshunds, Hunter and Maisie. Terry John Bartow is also the author of Gollywood, Here I Come. Please go to gollywoodhereicome.com for more information.